Welcome to beautiful Behind the Mountains. It's where the bell, the church bell. I hate that bell. Let me start from the top. So welcome to beautiful Behind the Mountains, where I bought a house nearly 2 years ago. And things were hunky-dory back then. I was in a lot better financial shape. I'll get into that in just a moment. I don't really talk about myself in these videos. I don't even reveal my name so as not to give too much away. Because as soon as it's out there, that's it. That horse is out of the stable, it's never coming back. And yeah, I do value my privacy. But then again, you know, very few people watch this channel. Even fewer here from Portugal, thank goodness. And not because I'm against Portugal or anything. It's just then no one will recognise me in the street or anything, which is good. I like my privacy, but things aren't going well. The car just came back from the mechanic. So in the last video, I complained how there was a wheel bearing or something that was making a lot of noise. Turned out it was 2 wheel bearings. In fact, when I took my car to the mechanic for it to be diagnosed, the sound seemed to come from the middle, and he thought it was like something in the transmission. But no, because it was on either side. It's like a stereo effect, it seems to be. Yeah, I think you get the idea. So I had to replace both of them, and also when he took the suspension apart, some bit just came apart in his hands. I don't know what this is. You might be able to identify it, but yeah, extra money there. So that was not welcome at all. And furthermore, the car has developed a leak. Now I think that's LDS, I'm not sure. Yesterday I wasn't really sure if it was LDS or actual diesel, but I'm more inclined to the former than the latter. And I only detected this when I came to Behind the Mountains. So now I'm nearly 100 miles away from home and near where all the mechanics are, because there are no mechanics out here, let alone specialized Citroen mechanics that can fix hydractive related problems. Yeah, so hopefully the car will last the weekend at least. What's more, for the first time we've actually brought a guest. One of my daughter's friends has come. She's staying with us as well, so hopefully we don't get a busted car while she's here. It's been a long year, in all honesty. It was a year ago that I found out that I was going to be made redundant. For the preceding 4 years I worked for a company, it was a 3D printing company, rather happily. The money was good, they treated me very well, I liked working there, it was great, but the 3D printing landscape has changed and the company had to adapt to survive. So a year ago I was informed I was going to be let go, but they were really cool about it because they let me stay until the end of the year, see if I could find something else. Unfortunately that didn't happen because I'm so old, no one wants to hire me in this country. It's the same I think in many other countries, but here it's especially bad. Here they don't value experience, they value youth, but they always want you to have experience. That makes sense, happens a lot. You know, they want to pay the bare minimum they can, so it's easier to do that to a young person. They're not going to take, older people don't take that much crap that young people do, and I can attest to that because I was completely exploited when I was younger. Doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. Thing is, I've been making my way since then. Fortunately I do have work, I have my fingers in lots of pies, so I do get bits of work here and there. Of course, I bought a house in the countryside when I was employed and I was making good money, and in all honesty I had no reason to believe that I would have been laid off. I thought I was going to stay for the rest of my life at that company, and well, that just didn't happen. That's just the way life is. It's not a complaint, it's a fact. Though it does sound like I am complaining, and that would be natural because I was born and raised in the UK and we like to complain a lot in the UK. On the other hand, the Portuguese also like to complain. That's where I am now, so I sort of compound that feature of both peoples, I think. But I do try not to complain. Now I'm in this financial situation, and I actually said in my last video that I was going to try to make something of YouTube to see if I can get some extra money, but because I'm not actually making a lot of money, I don't have the availability and the independence that I would have to, you know, be able to drive somewhere and film. In fact, I'm having to do this near my house and walk it because the car's got a leak and fuel is expensive. So yeah, it's funny how that works. You know, you want to make money, but if you don't have money, then you can't really make money as easily. And especially if you've got a car, you really need a car to be able to work. in most countries, and this is no exception. Bloody hell, yeah. But anyway, enough complaining. Thing is, I'm not gonna, go for YouTube 100%. YouTube is very fickle. There was the adpocalypse a few years ago, and now with a geopolitical situation going on in the world, there is a good chance that something might happen that will stop American companies being so free with their money for people in Europe, if you know what I mean. I don't think, people think it's not going to affect YouTube, but I wouldn't be so sure. We live in very interesting times. And I've been feeling especially down lately because, even if you've got savings, those savings begin to diminish. And of course, expenses either stay here or go up because we're living in a cost of living crisis. It hasn't been a very good couple of months. And even though I'm looking for work and looking to create my own opportunities, it's just been absolutely dire. Yeah. But anyway, in the midst of that, actually, I had a very pleasant surprise. Now, when a video about a Citroen C5 X7 pops up on my feed, I'm clicking straight away. For some reason, there's a video that popped up on my feed just a couple of days ago, which I didn't click on. At least if it did show up on my feed when it was new, I didn't click on it. It was 2 months old, and it's a review of a Citroen C5 X7 Tourer from a channel called Aston Spencer. Now, the review is harsh, but fair. For example, I think that the C5 is reliable, but the person in the video thought that it wasn't reliable. You can't argue with that. You can have the most reliable car in the world. It might be a Mercedes W123. If it wasn't treated well in its previous life, you bought it second hand, it's not going to be reliable. So there's no point in going on the net, yes, it is reliable. You can't say that. It's a fair criticism to say that. I was puzzled by the fact that he thought that it was slow, but then again, the other cars I think he owns is a Mercedes CL500 and, a big petrol Jag. So yeah, next to that, a 2-litre diesel will seem incredibly snail-like. But none of that matters, really. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and we don't have to get all uppity because someone doesn't agree with us, or we don't agree with them. If everyone in the world had the same opinion, things would be very boring. So yeah, it's great that people don't agree with us and we can talk about it and not get our knickers in a twist because people don't like the same cars we do. By the way, I do like cars. In response to the video, I do like cars. It's true that I do like dreadful cars, like Mr. Hubnut. I've fully embraced that. Even before I watched Mr. Hubnut, I did like everyday cars. I was just so sick of watching Top Gear, and every time a segment on a supercar came on, like, oh God. Fast forward, they're very expensive. They have way too much power you'll never be able to properly use on a public road. And you'll never be able to, well, at least people like me, I'll probably never even sit in one, let alone actually experience driving it. So yeah, they don't really speak much to me, those cars, but regular cars do. But anyway, I'm getting completely sidetracked. The thing is, I got a mention in the video, and I was very, very happy to see that. And thanks for the kind words, Mr. Aston and Spencer. It was great, I'm a part-time YouTuber with less than 6,000 subscribers, so I was very, very flabbergasted to see me mentioned on YouTube in such favourable light. So thanks very much. Yeah, that really made my day watching that. It made my week. It made my month, in all honesty. And of course, it made me want to continue my idea of making a second channel, continuing this one, but in both cases, trying to be a bit more appealing. If I could get the channels to a point where they could pay for the car's upkeep, that'd be brilliant. And it's something I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to do a Patreon or memberships or anything like that, at least for the time being. Who knows, maybe in the future I might, we'll see. But as I said, YouTube is fickle, so I don't want to depend on YouTube income for me to survive, and I want the channel to be worth it. If it's just ad revenue, that's more than enough. And I thank everyone for watching. I keep saying that, and these videos probably get boring. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Next step now is to find out what was wrong with the car, but that's going to be on Monday. Today's a Friday, and yeah, I'm working remotely today, thank goodness. I'm back in architecture. I used to be an architect in another life, and because of the circumstances of my life, I found myself back in its clutches. Yeah, architecture is not something that I would recommend to anyone, especially not in a country like Portugal, where we have absolutely no prospect of career advancement. You have to be rich to be able to be a successful architect. You have to have like someone in your family who is already in the milieu. It might be like a construction boss or something, and then he can hire you, or you've already got an architect in the family who can pass on some customers, etc. If you're like me, just a drone from a completely unknown family who has no connections, then you're stuffed. And that's one of the reasons why I left architecture, although to be perfectly honest, I was pushed out by the financial crisis of 2008. Managed to hang on for 5 years, but completely exploited. And then I got into the world of 3D printing, and then also began translation and voice acting. And it turned out that any one of those was much better paid than architecture, and also less work. But now it's different. I'm doing like a different branch of architecture, like it's like 3D buildings and such. So it's not actual art. I'm not actually designing stuff. I'm executing stuff. But it still works. It's still good for me because it pays the bills. So yeah, that's some autobiographical knowledge on me. As I say, I don't usually talk about myself, and I'm only really making this video because I need content. I don't know. I think it might be interesting for some people to know more or less who I am. I don't know if that works on YouTube or not. But yeah, one thing in the video that Mr. Aston and Spencer published was he called me the comfortable car guy. And that's something that I've realised I've never said my name, and that is on purpose. And I don't know. I know a lot of your names because you sign it, so very few people do know my name. One is Mr. Nice-Hearted, Volvo driver from Greece. How you doing, man? And yeah, we get on like a house on fire. I have done since the beginning of the channel, and I've actually swapped a couple of emails. So there's that. But yeah, I really haven't introduced myself. So hello everyone, my name is Alexander. Nice to meet you. And if you haven't been here before, please subscribe and such, and watch some videos. That would help. God, I'm sorry. I take that back. I'm sorry. I don't want to scrounge or anything. But either way, I do thank you for watching. And I hope this video wasn't a complete few minutes of absolute and utter boredom. And if not, please like and please subscribe and please share and please comment. Some more videos for your entertainment, enjoyment and pleasure. I don't think they're that bad, honestly. Click on them. They might be cool. And there's also a t-shirt store that I made because I like t-shirts, and I like t-shirts about the C5, even though I'm not wearing one right now. Thanks very much for watching. I bid you all farewell.